Welcome to the DMF. I am your host, Justin Yantz. This is episode 10, and I am talking about John Cena and his run from 2005 to 2006 June. Now, I am going to go into depth with John Cena, but I don't want people to think that I dislike John Cena. I see John Cena as a great performer. Well, he wasn't a great performer at first, but he got better as he went along. My problem mainly with John Cena is the booking of John Cena. I do not like his booking. I pretty much hate it. But I don't hate the man. I like the man. I think he puts in a tremendous amount of work in professional wrestling, as well as his Make-A-Wish Foundation things and his film work. I like his film work. I think he's a great actor. Sometimes I think he's a better actor than he is a wrestler. But that's a moot point. But I am putting this here because I am going to be speaking very frank about John Cena, and I don't want people to look at it like I'm picking on John Cena. My indictment on John Cena is his booking. Now, at this time, he wasn't a particularly great wrestler, and I am going to point that out at times. But this is no way do I want you to think that this is an indictment on John Cena, the wrestler, or the person. This is an indictment on the booking and how the company refused to change course when they needed to. So I'm going to talk about his SmackDown run, which is January 2005 to June 2005. I'm going to talk about his Raw run, which begins in June, and that will all the way go through pretty much December. And then I'm going to end with 2006 John Cena, and this is where the change needed to happen. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy, and as I talk about John Cena. Thank you. Let's talk about John Cena on SmackDown. We're going to talk about January 05 to June of 05. And this is his SmackDown feud mainly with JBL. Now, the year begins and they really don't have anything for Cena. He's just kind of treading water because we all know the feud that they're moving towards is JBL. Now, this is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to just run through matches. Although I've watched every single match from this entire period, I just really want to give more of an overview of what I see is happening. So I'm going to run in order, but I'm not going to go through every single match. This is going to be more of an opinion and what I am seeing while I'm watching this. So the year begins and he's doing like battle raps and things like that, and it's really not anything interesting. We get the Royal Rumble. He does really well in the Royal Rumble. He gets thrown out by Batista, and we are on to JBL. Because the next week on SmackDown, he basically FUs JBL, and we all know what's coming, and that they're building towards John Cena and JBL. Now, there's a tournament to decide who is going to face JBL. And John Cena defeats Booker T, and then he gets to face Angle. And Angle at this point is becoming like the best wrestler on the planet. It's very hard for him to have a bad match. So we're at No Way Out of 2005. In the previous year, No Way Out 2004, John Cena had lost to Kurt Angle and The Big Show. And now we're a year later and it's that match again. It's Cena versus Kurt Angle. Now this time John Cena defeats Kurt Angle. And later on in the night he shows up after JBL weasels his way out of his match with Big Show and FUs him. So we're off to the races now. So now we come to the first SmackDown with Cena as the number one contender. Cena interrupts JBL. Typical stuff. Next week, he's got a promo saying he's sick of JBL. Not much happening here. Then we get to, he loses the United States title, which he was still holding, to Orlando Jordan, who is JBL's quote-unquote chief of staff. What a lame name. They called his faction the Cabinet, which is just lame. But anyways, Orlando Jordan defeats John Cena with some outside help from JBL. He hits him over the head with a belt. And they destroy John Cena's version of the United States title, which is the United States title, but it's like got a little thing on it and it spins and it's really stupid. So they blow that up, and it's really lame the way they blow it up. They put it in a trash can, and he has a remote that makes it explode. It felt like something out of a comic book, but not a very good comic book. So we're off to the races here. So later on in the night, Cena shows up. He's got a pipe, and they're starting to censor his hat, which says "Ruck Rules," or "Ruck Fools," I think it is. You know, you can pretty much tell what they're doing there. But it comes off so lame because they never did that before, and he had worn the shirt and the hat before, and they never censored it. So it's a censorship they're trying to put on there to make Cena look like, oh, look, he's the anti-authority figure guy. You know, he's stone cold. They're really trying to turn him into a stone cold type of character. It's not working. Unfortunately, John Cena at this point in time is not very good in the ring, and you can see that, especially when he's in there with a guy like Orlando Jordan. When he's in there with Kurt Angle, he's passable. You don't notice it. But when he's in there with Orlando Jordan, you notice that he's not very good. So we move into the weeks, and he's chasing, JBL, and JBL, he can't touch JBL or he'll lose his title shot. Typical WWE booking. It's lame and dumb, but it works in this point because everybody kind of wants to see JBL get beat, because JBL has not been beaten since basically late June of 2004 when he defeated Eddie Guerrero. So everybody's waiting to see JBL finally lose. So they have a debate, which is just lame. And he says, the general manager says, okay, you can't touch Cena. Cena can't touch you unless he's physically provoked. So he's doing all this stuff to, make JBL hit him. He's spray painting his car, and JBL still won't hit him. He's pouring water in his hat and then throwing it on him. I don't know how the hell that's not touching him. And then he spray paints a yellow streak down him and still not touching him. It's really dumb and shows a lack of logic in WWE. At this point in time, they just really are just... It's whatever they think works is going to work. So, we come to the final SmackDown before WrestleMania 21. John Cena faces Carlito. Cena gets arrested by JBL, so JBL gets some payback on him, and he beats him up while he's being handcuffed by cops. We've seen this a million times, except it was done much better. So this all leads up to WrestleMania 21, April 3rd, 2005. John Cena faces JBL. The match sucks. I'm going to be honest with you, it's a lame match. Cena defeats JBL. Finally, somebody's beaten JBL. John Cena is the champion. So we come to the next SmackDown, and Cena is celebrating, and he cuts a promo with the crowd and saying how he's happy and blah, 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 blah. Nothing happens. Next week, he unveils the new WWE title, which is the title that spins. And it says champ on it. And it's really lame. But it looks good for kids. And, as long as he's holding it, I'm fine with it. It's fine. So, he's got his own belt now. Now we go to the next SmackDown. We're at Madison Square Garden. They've discussed that he's got a new album coming out. They're really pushing the rap stuff hard. Next SmackDown, we see his bad man stuff. I mean, at this point, John Cena's kind of gone into a metamorphosis. He was this rapper character with like this stuff, and now he's this rapper character, but he's starting this whole like never give up, I'm this guy, they're really hammering home a bunch of stuff that I feel is unnecessary. Now he's just being shoved down our throats. And he's got a CD coming out where they show one of the music videos called Bad Man, and it's like a bad 80s trip where they've got a fake they've got Gary Coleman in there. Gary Coleman from what is it called? The Different Strokes. And it's got all these it's got like a fake Madonna in there. It's really lame. It's starting to symbolize what John Cena is about to become. Lame at this point. So he's doing all this stuff, and he's feuding with JBL, and they're going to have now an I Quit match, and they're just really shoving him down our throat. I mean, he's got new music now, and this will be the music he's going to carry throughout his whole career. He got that like right before WrestleMania. And now we're about to get to Judgment Day 2005. And the SmackDown before Judgment Day 2005, which is now we're in May, he faced the Bashams, which is, I don't remember the name of his thing, part of JBL's cabinet. He's got the chief of staff and I don't know, a bunch of made-up stupid names that really is lame. This stuff I really hated. But anyway, Cena faces the Bashams in a 2-on-1 match. And this is the first time I really can hear boos for Cena, because you can see he's not that good in the ring. And this was the problem with Cena all along. He's not that good, but they're putting him in there when they put him in there with guys like Kurt Angle, it disguises that fact. So, we get to JBL and John Cena at Judgment Day 05. This is the I Quit match. And Cena faces them, and they bleed all over the place. It's a real bloodbath. I actually like this match. I liked this match. Cena comes out in a semi with a DJ. That's a little too much as far as I'm concerned. And he's, but he takes like the exhaust pipe off the truck, and he's going to hit JBL with it. And JBL says, I quit. He's basically, a baby now. And he still hits him anyways. So John Cena has vanquished basically JBL. And the next week on SmackDown, JBL finally admits that he couldn't beat John Cena, which basically is saying this feud is over. That John, he says, I couldn't beat you. And, Cena says, well, I made a little tribute video for you, just a little something in there. And, JBL's like, oh, really? Let me see. He's like, no, I don't want to show it to you. So he shows it. It's basically, it starts off with JBL, with the title all of a sudden, and then it transfers into him just saying, I quit over and over again. I quit. It's actually quite humorous. So this pretty much ends John Cena's run on SmackDown, because there is a draft coming up. And John Cena is the first person to be drafted from SmackDown to Raw. And he comes out, and he's got the thing. You can actually hear some boos here. I was listening really well. And Christian interrupts, and Jericho's there, and Christian makes a Mark McGuire reference. And basically now Cena is one of the top guys on Raw, because at this point Batista is still on Raw. So this pretty much ends my my take on John Cena on SmackDown. he really became the John Cena that a lot of people liked from 2004, 2003, and that's all been on SmackDown. He's never been on Raw. So all his feuds have been on SmackDown. And now he's on Raw. This is like the switching of the guard, which is what it becomes. Because, not known yet, but Batista is going to go to SmackDown. And they basically switch places. The WWE title becomes the Raw title, and the SmackDown title is now the world title that Batista has, that he won from Triple H. So Cena is now they're like basically anointing him the guy, because Raw was known as the A show. It still is kind of the A show, but now it's on Fox. So you see throughout this run, they're building up John Cena, but the problem is they start shoving him down our throat. And there is a backlash that slowly happens because John Cena is not that good in the ring. And also, every time he comes out and he takes his shirt off, the women are screaming. Which is what is about to happen on Raw, is we are going to see the transition between the favorite that John Cena was and the hatred that John Cena is going to become. You're going to hear the women cheer and the men boo, which will soon become the women and children cheer and the men boo. And that's what we're going to talk about when we get to Raw. So this pretty much ends what I have to say about SmackDown. I think it was a good way to establish him. He started off strong. He did really well in the Royal Rumble. They had him defeat Kurt Angle in like the best way they possibly could. They could have maybe done it in other ways, but it was a good way to defeat him. And then they had the JBL feud, and they had the whole don't touch him, and he beats him at WrestleMania decisively, might I add. There's no chicanery or foolery there. And then he defeats him in this bloody match with JBL in an I Quit match. So there's really nowhere else for him to go on SmackDown. He needs to go to Raw. And that's what we're going to talk about next, is John Cena's run on Raw. Okay. Raw. Now, John Cena comes over on June 5th, 2005, as I said. And he's the first draft pick from Raw. So SmackDown, he's yanked from SmackDown to Raw. Now, he's about to begin a feud that's going to carry him pretty much throughout this whole beginning run on Raw. And his first feud really is with Eric Bischoff. They're trying to do Stone Cold versus McMahon, but doing it Cena versus Bischoff. Let me let you in on a secret. It doesn't work. So, when he shows up, Cena is, talking to, he shows up on Raw. He's a guest on the highlight reel. Christian comes out. Now, Christian at the Royal Rumble had kind of challenged Cena to a battle rap, and Cena embarrassed him, and Christian had been talking about Cena all the time. The fans really wanted to see Cena versus Christian. So he's out there. He FUs Tomko, who's Christian's guy. Now John Cena is wearing black jean shorts. From before, he was always wearing the blue jean shorts. Now he's transitioned into black jean shorts because now he's, a tough guy. He's the anti-authority guy. He's supposed to be stone cold, but he's not. Cena and Bischoff have a confrontation backstage. Bischoff wants Cena to kind of like fall in line, and Cena says, "Look, I don't play politics with anybody." Next week, we have Cena and Jericho, Tomko and Christian. Cena gets attacked by Jericho, which is going to make them have a triple threat match at Vengeance. which is the first pay-per-view of Raw that Cena's going to be on. Next week, Cena cuts a promo on Muhammad Hassan, who is this Muslim character, Arab Semitic type of Arab sympathizer type character who is getting a lot of heat, but it's for the wrong reason. He's about to go to SmackDown. So Cena beats him. He gives him basically his first loss. This takes us into Vengeance. It's Cena versus Christian versus Jericho. Cena wins. And Christian is kind of now taken out of this feud because he's going to go to SmackDown. This is a big mistake. This is one of the mistakes I think WWE made, because the fans really wanted to see Christian become a top guy and face Cena. And Vince McMahon has always been... He's always hated Christian. For some reason, he would never let Christian get past a certain level. This is why Christian ends up leaving in November to go to... Actually, October of 2005 to go to TNA. Because he's frustrated. He realizes he can't get any further here. Because Vince only sees him at a certain level. And the fans really wanted to see him, break out. They wanted to see that feud. So basically, Cena starts to have a feud now with Jericho. And Cena tags with Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan. And they're doing a lot of little things to, they're not directly making him the main event, but they're kind of like surrounding him with the main eventers to get people familiar with him. He does another tag match with he hits on Maria. He starts calling Y2J Jericho Y2 Cheap, which just sounds lame. I absolutely hate that. Next week, Jericho interrupts. Cena cuts a promo. Basically, we're just seeing the same thing over and over again. Cena FUs Bischoff. So he FU'd, remember, Teddy Long on SmackDown. Now he's FU'd Bischoff. Now he's like, supposed to be Stone Cold. I keep saying that, but I want to hammer that down because that's what they're trying to do. Cena does an interview. This is really his first main event on Raw all by himself. He faces Snitsky in a lumberjack match. It's lame. Cena still wins. This is where they start really just putting him overcoming every odds that you could ever think of. See, when Stone Cold would have the odds put against him, yeah, he would overcome a lot of them, but a lot of times he would lose, and it would make you want to see him beat the guy more. But here, Cena would just win every time. This leads us to the battle rap with... It's Cena and Jericho. Jericho is going to be with his man Fozzy, and Cena's going to do his rap. Cena does his rap, Fozzy comes out, or Jericho comes out and says that Fozzy's not going to do anything. Basically, they're scared that Cena's going to get booed, so Jericho pulls a whole heel move and says that, I'm not gonna do anything. These people don't deserve to have me. Next week we have Cena versus Carlito. Jericho's the ref. They do a bunch of chicanery. Cena loses. This is his second loss of this year, since he lost to Orlando Jordan. I guess you could count the Royal Rumble as a loss, but it's not really a loss. But this is his second pinfall loss. So Cena attacks Jericho at the beginning of the show. Jericho is the ref again, but this time it's for the title. Cena is now, a main event guy. They're really making a main event. But Jericho gets taken out, so another ref comes out and counts Carlito's shoulders to the mat. This makes no sense. Why didn't Jericho just screw him to begin with? This is where I hate the ref stuff, because it's why isn't he just... If he wants to screw him, just screw him over. Just disqualify him. Why is he putting up with all this stuff? It's really stupid. Cena bleeds at the end of this because Jericho attacks him. We go into Cena interferes. We get a music video of Cena where it's just so lame and it's so hammered home. They're trying to do this sentimental video saying, hey, look, he's just a townie. He's just a normal guy. And it feels so heavy-handed, and it's getting so old, and you can hear the boos getting bigger each week. So then Cena faces Carlito and Jericho, and they're talking about how they're going to try and how they're going to get Cena booed, which is basically them trying to get themselves booed. It's so lame. I hate it. I absolutely hate what they're doing right here. Cena's going to be at the Teen Choice Awards with Hulk Hogan. They're just shoving him down my throat every week. Jericho hits Cena with a chair. We're on our way to SummerSlam. Cena won also that match as well. So, we're at SummerSlam. We're in the MCI Center. We're in Washington. And this is Cena versus Jericho. Unbeknownst to us, Jericho is going to leave WWE the next night. But we don't know that. So Cena versus Jericho. They really screwed Christian not having him do this. They're talking about West Newbury 101. Jim Ross is... They're playing every trick here. Cena sucks at selling. It's awful. But this is the first time you really hear the Let's Go Jericho, Let's Go Cena chants that is going to become a hallmark of his whole entire career. I mean, his booking is just killing him. It's the boos, they're booing him on the offensive. He gets loudly booed. This is where you can really hear that the audience a portion of the audience does not like Cena. And it's loud. So Cena beats Jericho. He FUs him. 1, 2, 3. The people are, it's like, okay, great. Again. We go to the next night. Cena is listening to music backstage, and Jericho and Bischoff comes over and is talking to him, and he just is kind of like, he's like, I'm going to be, you're going to lose, Cena, this and that. Because the stipulation is whoever loses is fired. So it's Cena versus Jericho. And we get the Let's Go Cena and the Let's Go Jericho. Cena kicks out of brass knucks. Cena wins. And Jericho is fired. And Bischoff fires him, and he's carried up the ramp like a little baby, with them picking up his feet as he's kicking away. It's really lame. Kurt Angle shows up. He is the number one contender, and he beats the hell out of Cena. We are making him now the man. So the guy that John Cena beat in February is now the guy that, because he's on Raw as well, he just beats the hell out of Cena. So the next week on Raw, Cena calls out Angle. They kind of have a little fight. He's getting a new shirt, it seems like, every single week. Once again, they are shoving him too far down our throats. That's pretty much it for Cena on that Raw. Next week on Raw, Cena attacks Angle. Angle beats up Cena. Angle is a beast now. He's like really starting to create this like wrestling machine character where he is just like on another level. He's so vicious and good at what he does, and you can't help but see the audience not want to boo this guy. This really, they're having the opposite effect of what they want to happen. So then Tomko versus Cena. Cena squashes Tomko like nothing. I guess they've basically given up on that guy. So now we're going to get to a point where Cena's basically going to be the main event till like almost December. Angle destroys Cena on the ramp. Cena's in Bischoff's office. Cena says, "You know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just going to hand this over." And he's faking the whole time. He's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not going to. You think I'm going to do this? Well, I'm not giving you that." And cuts his stupid promo that nobody likes.
Jim Ross calls Kurt Angle the demonic blue-eyed killer, which he looks like. Angle beats up Cena again. Bischoff is screaming at a fallen Cena because Bischoff has had it. Now Bischoff is really getting into it. They're basically following Austin McMahon 101, whereas Bischoff tried to play nice. Vince tried to play nice with Austin. Then by the next month, Vince was trying to screw Austin no matter any way he could. So they're pretty much copying that. This takes us to Unforgiven, 9/18/05. This is the pay-per-view. It's Cena versus Angle. Cena is like a beast in this match. You can hear the boos for Cena once again. And Cena hits Angle with his belt. He gets DQ'd. Bischoff says he doesn't get the title, and we get an FU to Eric Bischoff. Angle attacks Cena after. Then we get an FU through the table on Angle from to Angle. So Cena, stands tall even though he got himself disqualified. Next night on Raw, Eric Bischoff is there. He's got the old title back. And Vince shows up, and this is when they started doing the thing where Vince is a bad guy on one show and he's a good guy on this show. Makes absolutely no sense. We're supposed to now like Vince. I mean, I guess it kind of works. And he says, that a title can never change hands. A title change hands is only on pinfall or submission. And he pretty much yanks the title out of Bischoff's hands, says that Cena is still the champion. It's really lame. Cena has a promo with HBK and Show and Matt Hardy. It's lame. They have a match. Big Show choke slams a guy, and then they all dogpile on everyone. Everybody leaves happy, but it's becoming apparent that Cena is becoming so annoying, and everyone that is paying attention is starting to hate him. At least the men are. So we come in. Cena's booed when coming out. It's Angle and Chris Masters versus Cena and Michaels. See, now they're putting him with Michaels to try and, dissipate the cheers. This takes us to Homecoming, which is when WWE returned to USA Network because TNN or the Spike Network, they didn't really want to pay them the same amount of money anymore because they weren't getting the same ratings. So they go back to USA Network, and they have the big show, and it's 3 hours long. And it's Cena versus Bischoff. And Cena beats Bischoff with the FU, and it's lame. Next Raw, we get the tease for next year's WrestleMania. Triple H is walking backstage, and everybody's upset with him because he beat the hell out of Ric Flair, and he left him bloody and everything. And he passes John Cena, and Cena says, if you want some, come get some. And Triple H goes up to him and he says, if I want some, I'll take it. And you can kind of hear, the cheers a little bit because everybody's just like, yeah, please take this, man. Take this title off him. There's Carlito, Angle, and Edge versus HBK, Cena, and Big Show. Angle actually pins Cena. So Angle got to pin Cena. So Angle has beaten Cena by DQ, and now he's beaten him by pinfall in a tag match. So they have this battle royal to decide who is going to be the final man in this Taboo Tuesday thing. Kane wins this. They tease Kane and Cena, but the fans aren't going for this, and it goes absolutely nowhere. Angle faces Cena with Foley as the ref. The good news is at least Angle hasn't lost yet. If this was this time period, they would probably had Kurt Angle lose 3 straight. So Foley gets taken out. Bischoff's the ref. Bischoff puts Cena's hand down, counts it as a tap, and, pretty much screws him over. We have the rematch. Cena attacks Angle. This is the next night. Raw, and it's Cena versus HBK. The first time they're giving this away on free TV, which is stupid. It doesn't lead to anything, and Angle interferes, and Michaels lays them both out. So now we're at Taboo Tuesday. This is the Tuesday pay-per-view that they do. This is the last time they do it on Tuesday. Next year it's Cyber Sunday, because they can't do anything different. And it's Cena versus Angle versus Michaels, because Michaels won the voting. It was between Michaels, Big Show, and Kane. Michaels won the voting. Oh, what a shock. And you can really hear the boos for Cena in this match. Shawn loses. It's a good match. Cena sells the damage. Shawn loses, so we go on to now it's Chris Masters and Angle versus Cena and HBK. We just saw this a couple weeks ago, and they're just regurgitating crap. And they do this thing where Kurt Angle says he's not going out there unless Eric Bischoff does something about the boos, which is stupid because most of them aren't really booing him. So when Angle's music hits, You Suck, which they've been doing for years, they're beeping it out. It's really lame and dumb. And Daivari, Muhammad Hassan's manager, is now with Kurt Angle, and they're trying to paint off Kurt Angle as like an Iraqi sympathizer. It's really dumb. Daivari returns. He's the ref. There's HBK loses. It's a DQ by HBK for holding a chair. Oh yeah, Shawn Michaels is holding a chair, so Daivari just DQs him. Doesn't make any sense. Then Angle beats up Cena. Next Raw is a sad Raw because Eddie Guerrero died. So no one was expecting that. And so we don't really have any real storyline momentum here. It's really just a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. And Cena faces Orton, and fortunately it's kind of a boring match. And this ends in a DQ. And then there's an FU on Orton. It's really just a nice tribute for Eddie Guerrero, so there's not much to say there. But it was nice that they did this. So now we're into November. And Cena's on Mad TV, and they're in the UK. And Cena cuts a promo from the set. He comes out. They fight. It's lame. It's just more lame. I'm just so sick of Cena at this point. Now we're at Survivor Series 2005. This is November 27th. And it's Cena versus Angle, and Daivari's the ref. We hear the Let's Go Angle, Let's Go Cena chant. This is lame. Cena FU's Angle after a bunch of crap with the ref. A SmackDown ref comes out and counts him 1, 2, 3. It makes no sense at all, and they don't explain it. Typical WWE, especially for now, in this time period. So now we're the next night on Raw. Cena's booed. Angle slams Maria. Cena comes out to save the woman. They're doing all these tricks to get Cena cheered. It's becoming ridiculous because Cena wins every time, and he's becoming OP Cena, which means overpowered Cena, meaning he never loses. He's always going to win. It's becoming, he never gives up and all that other crap that he's spouting. So this leads us to Eric Bischoff is told, if he doesn't get Cena, if Cena doesn't lose the next week on Raw or whatever, it makes no sense. It's Cena versus Masters versus Angle. If Cena beats Chris Masters with the STFU. This is the first time they start, because it's a submission match. So we're supposed to believe that John Cena's going to lose this time because he doesn't have a submission move, but he beats Chris Masters with an STF, and this becomes a new move for him. People are groaning. It's becoming really old. I feel like a broken record, but I absolutely hate this period. Now we're at Raw, December 5th, 2005. Vince McMahon is now a judge, and we're going to have the trial of Eric Bischoff. And they have all this crap, and it makes no sense because it's just lame. And Vince fires Eric Bischoff, but he makes the match that Eric Bischoff suggested, which is going to be the Elimination Chamber. And Vince says the famous words, "Take out the trash." And he, FUs Bischoff, and then Vince throws him into a garbage truck, and he's taken off. And that's pretty much the end of this first run on Raw. Because John Cena and Vince McMahon have gotten rid of Eric Bischoff. He's won this feud. He beat Kurt Angle. So there you have it. At this point in time, summing it up, it's just so heavy-handed. They are doing everything they can to get this guy cheered. Angle, beats up a woman so that Cena can come out and get the cheer for when he does it. It's so... You can see it coming. It doesn't feel like it means anything. It's just like they're ignoring the crowd. And that's going to be really my through line when I get to the end of this is really when WWE decided that, yeah, we hear them booing, but you know what? We're not going to do anything about it because, we've got this portion of the crowd that likes it, and Vince McMahon likes it. And this is about the time when Vince is becoming very stubborn, as he's not going to do anything about this. And all this lead up, from Jericho to Angle. Angle is really becoming, people are really digging Angle. But, he has to be the bad guy. So at least Angle didn't lose 3 times. He only really lost at Survivor Series, and there was some chicanery there. And Eric Bischoff is now fired. And so now Cena is the main guy on Raw. He is basically main evented almost every Raw from, at this point, looking at 8/22/05, Cena is basically the main event of Raw. Triple H is kind of feuding with Ric Flair. So he's kind of out of the main event. This is like the first time in 2 years Triple H has been out of the main event. So we have Cena as the top guy. And now we're going to go into 2006. And this is where John Cena needed to turn heel because people are hating him. And this is where the company decides we're not going to do anything about it. So we're going to talk about that next.
Okay, so now we're about to enter 2006. And like I said, if you weren't hating John Cena in 2005, now everybody hates John Cena, especially if you're a male. Because he never loses, and he just continues to overcome the odds, and he's such a troll. And so let's begin. Now, where we previously left off, Eric Bischoff is gone. So now we're about to enter a new feud. At this point, everyone is just waiting for Triple H to finally take the title from this guy, because it's so annoying. So here we are. Raw 12/12/05. They're in Boston. It's Cena versus Daivari. Cena, stops Daivari from painting over a Larry Bird thing. They're doing all this stuff to make Angle hated. Angle's going out there saying, "I hope the troops lose. I didn't want to go over to see the troops for the tribute to the troops thing." So they're pulling on all these tricks that nobody believes. Nobody believes that Kurt Angle is this Iraqi sympathizer. It makes no sense. So Cena versus Daivari in a blindfold match. Ooh, can't wait. John Cena wins with the STF. Now that's becoming his move, and he calls it now the STFU, because his move is the FU. So Cena faces Chris Masters the next week. He beats him. Nothing's happening. Cena versus Shelton. He fails to beat the clock. Then we have the week right before the Elimination Chamber. Here's where things start to get good. It's John Cena versus Kurt Angle in a first blood match. Oh man, the Cena propaganda is just all over this. They have Cena with the Steelers talking about, everyone is so tired of this guy. Cena even does a rap promo. He gets booed out of the building. We have the first blood match. Cena bleeds pretty badly. Angle pretty much destroys Cena. It's a good ending because they have all the guys come out, and it's a good ending. So now we move to New Year's Revolution, 1/08/2006. Angle cuts a promo on this show as a face. He says, this shows how much of a face he was, because he says backstage, Angle says, well, I hope we lose the war, and I'd like to make Jesus Christ tap out, and to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of black people. And you can hear the crowd cheering him loudly. It does not matter what he does. We're in Albany, New York, by the way. So Angle has become a huge face. Everybody wants to like this guy. Nobody likes Cena. So, we're in the Elimination Chamber. It's Carlito versus Cena versus HBK versus Kane versus Angle versus Chris Masters. Huge boos for Cena. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to see him do anything. The crowd is just completely wanting his head on a spit. Angle comes out, super face. The cheers for Angle laying out everyone is just unheard of. He is like a machine. This pretty much turns him face, because after this, there's no way he can be a heel. And I think they know that. But Angle gets eliminated by Shawn Michaels. The crowd just kind of dies here. Then Shawn Michaels gets eliminated. The crowd is pretty much dead, because it's just Cena getting beaten on by, and Kane gets eliminated. He does some big spots, but it doesn't really lead to anything. So Carlito and Chris Masters are beating up on Cena, and Carlito turns on Chris Masters and pins him, and then Carlito gets rolled up by John Cena. Okay, great. John Cena overcomes the odds. Not so fast. Vince McMahon comes out. Raise the cage. Raise the cage. This night is not over. Well, what's going on here? He says, we are going to have another match. John Cena will be defending his title against a man who has won the opportunity to cash in his Money in the Bank. See, at last year's WrestleMania, Edge won the Money in the Bank, and he could cash in on the champion anytime he wanted in a year's time. Well, this is that time. And Edge's music hits, and the place is so excited because we know he's going to finally beat John Cena, the Savior. He puts his briefcase out, hands it to Vince. You can hear the crowd. They're just like, oh, we're ready for this. He spears Cena. 1, 2, kick out. Okay, whatever. John Cena's bleeding, by the way. We know that's not how this is going to end. And Edge is just ready. And he spears him again. 1, 2, 3. John Cena is no longer the champion. The place rejoices. He's supposed to be a heel, and he's trying to heel this up. But you got to understand, this is the first time he's won the title, and he has been dreaming about this since he was a little boy, and you can see him almost crying. and Lita is with him, and she's trying to like help him, still maintain bad guy. But everyone, anybody that knows anything knows how much this means to him. And at this point in time, everyone knew Edge was ready, because you just could not, he was becoming so good every week, and he's the guy who beats John Cena. So Cena loses finally. Edge cuts a promo after the show saying that they're going to have a live sex celebration. So Cena wants a rematch the next night on Raw, then he's not going to get it until the Royal Rumble. They're trying to heel on him. He's got a new shirt. Cena comes out, no one cares. So Edge and Lita do this live sex celebration. They have a bed in the middle of the ring, and they're supposedly having sex. It's really stupid and lame, I'm going to be honest with you. Cena comes out, he chases Edge off, and then he FUs Lita. So that's what happens there. Now on SmackDown, this really doesn't have anything to do with it, but since I've been mentioning Angle goes to SmackDown. He wins their world title. So Angle is now moved over to the SmackDown brand, and he's a huge face there. And he wins it in Philadelphia, and everybody's ready to cheer this man. Oh, by the way, Ric Flair came out during the sex celebration, and he bled and got beat up as well. So now we're on to the next Raw, and lo and behold, we are in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was at this show. I remember this show. It's going to be Cena versus Edge in a tag team match. They get to pick their partners. Edge keeps going up to everybody. Everybody keeps telling him no. He goes to Triple H. He says, "Oh, I'll think about it." They're like all out of it. And then I'm like, I remember in the crowd, I was like, well, I know who it's going to be. It's going to be Chris Masters. Oh, wow. I was right. I remember the guy sitting next to me. He's like, yeah, you were right, man. Then Cena, he calls his partner out. Who does he pick? Oh, what a shock. Ric Flair. Once again, so Cena can get cheered. Cena makes Chris Masters tap out to the STFU and, holds up Ric Flair's hand. I remember after the show, Cena cut a promo and said, this is the man right here. Oh, it's so lame. They're so doing everything they can to make this man a face. It's kind of lame. They also had a match the week before that where Cena did the Master Lock Challenge. That was really boring. That's where he puts on a full Nelson and he's got to break it. And Cena almost broke it, but, Edge came out and stopped him. So it led to nothing. Edge defeats Ric Flair in a TLC match. It was really good. See, what was happening here at this point in time, Edge was really bringing up the ratings. The ratings were really going up with Edge as champion because it was such a breath of fresh air. Cena is no longer champion. We don't have to have this guy parading around with this stupid belt. The only thing that really started to become apparent now is that the spinner belt is to stay. He didn't switch over to the other belt. He just kept John Cena's stupid belt, which I hate because it says champ. It doesn't look like a real title. It looks like a toy, and I hate it. So now we're at the Royal Rumble, and this is John Cena versus Edge, the rematch. And Cena has this huge entrance with this contraption that looks like he's walking off on a stage or whatever. I don't know how to explain it. It's lame. He's got these cannons firing. It's so heavy-handed. So you don't think John Cena's going to lose, is he? Oh, of course not. He defeats Edge. He does. Not only does he FU him, he SDFUs him, and he makes him tap out. So Edge loses. This was a stupid decision because nobody wanted to see this at this point. So we're back to Cena as champion. Cena and Edge have a rematch on the next Raw. It's DQ and it's lame and nothing makes sense. Most of the spots were about convenience. Oh, Edge wins by DQ. Oh, wow. Oh, great. Also, Angle said that his Raw contract expired. That made absolutely no sense to me because he just signed a contract in June. I'm like, who would sign a contract for a guy for 6 months? That made no sense, but that's how they try to get out of it.
So now we're on to the next Raw. Cena is put with Maria. Remember, Angle beat up Maria, and Cena saved him. They've had this like kind of connection or whatever, and Maria's all like, I don't know what to do, John, I don't know what to do. So Cena kisses her. You can hear all the women cheering, because anything John Cena does they love. So it's Edge and Lita versus Cena and Maria. Maria and Cena come out together. It's a big thing. Maria pins Lita. It's really lame. Then we have the Cena versus Edge again. Now we're in Greensboro, and Mick Foley is the ref. This is going to make set up Edge's WrestleMania match with Foley. Oh, what do you believe? Cena wins again. He deadlifts Edge into an FU. Yada yada yada. He wins. Now the next Raw is to decide who is going to face Cena at WrestleMania. It's between Triple H, Big Show, and RVD. What a shock. Triple H wins. So Triple H is facing Cena. Triple H and Cena have a showdown. They have like kind of a stare down. And now we're off to the races. We know it's going to be Triple H and John Cena. Next week on Raw, we have the Cena promos. Triple H is pretty much, cheered loudly, because everyone's like, he's going to be the guy that beats Cena. Get this title off him. It's been forever. And then Cena throws comments at him. Triple H says, how, I shouldn't really be worried about you. I mean, the guy that his only move is pumping up his Reeboks. So they're playing into that, and McMahon says that at Saturday night's main event, the returning Saturday night's main event, it will be Cena and Triple H versus Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton. And the winner doesn't get anything, so it's really stupid. So, then the next week they have this pick your poison thing. Cena faces the Big Show. Loud boos for Cena. Cena FU's Big Show. It's kind of impressive. Cena and Triple H have a stare down. Nothing happens. It's lame. Then we have a contract signing. Triple H is so not taking Cena seriously. People are kind of loving it. We go into that. At that night, the main event, Cena beats. They have some kind of thing. It's Triple H and Cena have a face-off. Orton RKO Cena. This brings us into Saturday night's main event. The two main events versus each other. Triple H pedigrees Cena is kind of working with Orton. It's lame and stupid, but Cena wins anyway because, of course, he always wins. He rolls up Orton. Oh, man, this is just exhausting having to watch this guy every week win. Cena interrupts McMahon, who has a band and a bunch of stupid crap. Cena gets removed from a match, but it's John Cena and HBK versus Shane and Triple H. Vince McMahon disqualifies Cena for interfering in the match. It's really stupid, even though Cena comes out anyways. So it's going to be Cena and McMahon Cena versus McMahon on the next Raw. And this is just an angle to lead to basically Triple H and Cena. And Triple H beats up Cena with a sledgehammer. Cena bleeds. He's choking out. Vince DQs himself. It's a big bloodbath and everything. Now we're into WrestleMania 22. It's Triple H versus John Cena. Cena has this gangster entrance with all these old clips that are showing all these characters like Al Capone. Remember, they're in Chicago. It looks so stupid. It doesn't really fit with his character anymore because he's not a gangster anymore. He really has dropped the rap gimmick, and now he's the never give up Cena. So, if you like that part of him, that's pretty much gone. Triple H comes out dressed as Conan the Barbarian. It's really stupid. Funny thought here. Cena, during his entrance, they had sent out these cars and Tommy guns. One of the guys on the car is CM Punk. So a little bit of trivia there for you. Cena is booed mercifully here in Chicago. They just hate him. He could do absolutely. This man could cure cancer and he would have been booed. They hate him. They even chant "F-U Cena" at him when the girls are going, "Let's go Cena." Now we've got the "F-U Cena," and they're not saying "F-U Cena," they're saying "F-U-C-K Cena." So I didn't say it. This is I try to keep this, very clean show, but, that's what they're saying to him. It's F-U Cena, so. Anyways, Cena faces Triple H. They have an okay match, and Triple H taps out to the STFU, and everybody is just like, oh, come on. Are you serious? He beat him? So now Cena has not only vanquished Edge, he's vanquished now Triple H. Who is going to save us from this guy? Is he just going to be champion forever? Because that's what it's starting to feel like. So now we come out to Raw. Triple H interrupts. They have all this stupid crap, and they have Edge come out, and he says, I won my match, and this and that. So then we have it's Cena versus Edge and Triple H. Triple H pedigrees Cena, and now he beats him. But it's not for the title, so who cares? Then we have the exact same thing the next week on Raw. This time, though, it's Cena and Triple H versus Edge. Can you see the repetitive booking that's coming on here? So it's Cena, STFU on Edge. Next week on Raw, it's Triple H versus Cena and Edge. And Edge pins Triple H. Cena wins again by default. Now we're into Backlash. Oh, actually, no, we're not in the Backlash. We have one more Raw there, and Cena and Edge talk backstage, and it's Triple H and Cena fighting, and Edge, Cena, and Triple H versus the Spirit Squad. It's really lame and stupid. Triple H and Cena fight. It's really a DQ. Or no, actually, the Spirit Squad just leaves, and nothing really happens. It's lame. That brings us to Backlash. Cena versus Triple H versus Edge. They bleed all over the place. It's a bloodbath. But once again, Cena rolls up Triple H, or does he roll up Edge? Who cares? At this point, I'm like, I hate Cena. And he's becoming such a troll because, he's saying stuff like, I know some of you guys want to see the hateful Cena. You want to see Cena be a bad guy. But I'm not going to do that. Well, why'd you even bring it up if you're not going to do it? So Cena wins again, and we're just every fan that wants to see him lose is just like, is there no hope? Is this guy ever going to lose? So, now we're into the next night on Raw. Triple H and Cena fight. Oh, wait, no, that already happened. It all just runs together. Oh, it's the Spirit Squad. They're in charge of Raw, so it's Triple H. It's Cena versus Kenny Dykstra, who's the leader of the Spirit Squad. They're male cheerleaders. It's really lame. And Triple H is the ref. Triple H quits and beats them up. We're pretty much teasing that Triple H is going to be a face now. And they're doing the DX chop because this is leading up to the return of DX. So nothing really matters at this point. HBK comes down as the ref, Shawn Michaels. And it's an FU on Kenny. This makes no sense. If the Spirit Squad made Triple H the ref, why does somebody else get to come down and make They don't explain it, of course. Cena gets called out. Triple H wants a shot at Cena. Then says no. It's Cena and HBK versus the Spirit Squad. Kenny pins HBK. Triple H pedigrees Cena. Nothing happens. It's just lame here. Then we have Cena and RVD versus Triple H and Shelton. The winner gets the title, gets whoever's title. But here they do a thing where Triple H pedigrees Cena. He's got him beat, but because he pedigreed also RVD, Shelton pinned RVD, so he gets the Intercontinental title, and Triple H is screwed again. Even though it's been apparent that, yeah, he can beat Cena, but no, we're not going to do that. So next week, now we're about to switch into feuds. Triple H is really going to begin to feud with Vince McMahon, and they're going to reform DX. So Cena really has nobody here. So it's Cena versus Chris Masters. Oh, what a shock. Chris Masters makes him taps out to the STFU. It's like on repeat. I think we've seen this match 5 times. It feels like we've seen these matches over and over again. Rob Van Dam comes out. We hear the music hit. He's got the briefcase that he won at WrestleMania 22. So now Rob Van Dam can cash in this title shot anytime he wants, and he tells John Cena he's cashing in his title at One Night Stand, the ECW only pay-per-view. And this, at this point, this is where Cena should have turned heel, because the fans wanted to cheer RVD, they wanted to cheer Triple H. This is where we needed the turn to happen, and we didn't get it. But we get some good stuff here. So Cena faces Johnny Nitro of SmackDown. Or, oh, wait, now he's on Raw. I don't know. Who cares? Cena STFUs him, and RVD's on the commentary. They kind of have a brawl afterwards. Cena's acting very heelish here. This is why he should have been a heel. Now we're at the contract signing. It's Cena and RVD. And RVD pretty much says, hey, look, John, the Chain Gang is not going to be in New York when I face you. And he's making all these things, and John Cena's saying, well, you know, I was a fan here and everything. It's like, okay, all right. Do you want us to boo? What do you want? We don't know. John Cena has become such a troll at this point in time. This is what we all hated about Cena. So now we're at ECW versus WWE, and Cena is interviewed and says, you know, I got the whole legacy here. If I lose the WWE title, the WWE title is going to be rechristened the ECW title. And he's doing all this stupid crap, and it's the Never Give Up Cena, and it's Cena versus Sabu. Cena's got the STFU on him, so Sabu's about to tap out, but Big Show saves him. It's a DQ. This brings us to the greatest pay-per-view ever. ECW One Night Stand 6/11/06. It's Cena versus Rob Van Dam in the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. And these people hate John Cena. It's ECW fans. And do they have fun with John Cena? Or you haven't seen nothing yet. So John Cena comes out, he's holding up the belt like, you know, like he's this Marine or this, you know, fighting champion crap, and RVD's like beloved. And as soon as Cena starts, like Cena takes his shirt off and he takes his hat and throws it in the crowd. The crowd throws the hat back, and it hits John Cena. It's the greatest thing ever. Then he takes his shirt off, he throws it in the crowd. The crowd throws it back. Now, kudos to John Cena. He plays this up big, and he keeps throwing the shirt back into the crowd. The crowd keeps throwing it back, because this is not a WWE crowd. This is an ECW crowd, and they do not want any part of John Cena. And they throw his shirt back like 3 or 4 times. One guy wipes his butt with it. It's the funniest thing ever. The match begins, and they are just like same old SHIT. They are coming up with every chant you could think of. You know, you can't wrestle. This is the first time he's gotten the you can't wrestle, because he really couldn't wrestle that well here. So, you can't wrestle, F-U Cena, F-U-C-K Cena, everything. Cena swallows, everything you could think of, they said to this guy. And Cena's almost got, you know, RVD beat, and we're like, oh great, he's going to beat him again. But Cena's actually acting like a heel now, so this was good. This was a good place for him to turn heel. Now they don't do that, but on this show, he was a heel, and he worked like a heel. He worked like a bad guy. So Edge shows up with a motorcycle helmet and spears Cena through the table. Cena's out, but the ref is out because Cena punched him out. So there's no ref. RVD goes to the top rope, 5-star frog splash, there's no ref. Paul Heyman comes out, and he goes 1, 2, 3. John Cena has lost the championship. The whole place is celebrating. All the ECW crowd, all the ECW wrestlers are coming out. The ECW crowd, some people are in tears as they waited so long for Rob Van Dam to get this. This is like, you know, this was like vindication, because everyone knew RVD could be a main eventer, and they always took the ball away from him, and here he finally gets the ball. And the crowd is cheering. He's kissing his wife, who's in the crowd. Like Paul Heyman, I think he's got the greatest smile on his face. He's so happy, seeing his guy become champion. It's a great night. It's one of the best things ever. Cena finally loses. Now this is where I kind of want to end my journey with John Cena, because at this point in time, this was the perfect time for him to turn heel. And they didn't. They didn't. And this is where WWE really pisses me off, because they don't care what I think. And that's what I'm going to get into on the next segment. Okay, so we've gone through SmackDown, we've gone through Raw, and we've gone through his 2006 run up to June. The thing that we are seeing that is becoming very apparent is that the WWE is refusing to listen to the audience, at least a portion of the audience. They're like going, well, the kids and the women like him. Okay, that's great. But you know what? You could put a million other guys there and they probably would cheer that guy too. It's not like they're not like the men who, really are invested in this. I hate to say it, but kids are. I'm sorry. He needed to turn heel at this point, and he didn't. And at WrestleMania 22, you could see it. The fans hated this guy, and they refused to accept. They actually started healing the crowd. They're saying, "Oh, he's the most controversial champion." And no, this has nothing to do with controversial. This has to do with you refusing to listen to your audience. And at One Night Stand, that was the perfect time to turn him heel. And he was working heel. He could have so easily turned heel and then been a heel, and then he probably could have turned the crowd back, because he would have figured out, the crowd would have gotten it out of their system. But this is what I really want to get into now, is how this has affected WWE today, how this has gone on. They have continued to not listen to the fans. And this was the beginning of it. You could say the beginning of it was the invasion when WCW faced WWE, and they just completely had the WWE guys eliminate the WCW guys and just killed it in a matter of 4 months, which was sad. I mean, then in 2006, they bring back ECW. They had a crowd that wanted this to happen. What does Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn do, the executive producer of WWE, do? They do everything to kill it and not film it differently and not let it be ECW. They have to put their spin on it, and they wanted to turn it into another brand. If I wanted another brand, I'd watch SmackDown. I wanted something different. And this is the problem with WWE. It's the same thing. It's stale. They don't treat their audience with respect. Look at how many times they did the same match over and over again. Look at all the bait and switch stuff they did, with a referee coming out and saying, "This is the special referee. Oh, he gets knocked out. No, this referee will count as." It doesn't make any sense, and they don't explain it. And then they have John Cena saying, "Well, you could be evil and I could be bad and everything, but you know what? I'm not going to do that." Why even bring that up? He's like a troll. He's so annoying. He's rubbing it in our face that he doesn't. I'll never forget the night after WrestleMania 29 when everyone wanted to see him turn heel against The Rock. And he comes out on Raw and he says, "I know you guys wanted to see me do a heel turn," and he twists his leg around. I'm like, what are you, a heel? What are you, a troll? What is this? I mean, he's just constant, always doing this. The Nexus. They invade WWE. This is this great angle. What does John Cena do? He beats them. And it means nothing. John Cena faces CM Punk in 2011. CM Punk is the hottest character they have had in years. Everybody wants to see this guy. Now he wins the title. He beats John Cena. But what do? They have to bring him back. And they bring him back. And then they have Cena almost beat him, but he doesn't. And then they take the title away from him with this stupid Money in the Bank crap. And then he loses to Triple H, which leads to nothing.
so he doesn't ever get his win back from Triple H. It's so stupid. And the fans did not want to see that. And they refuse to listen to their fans. Now I go into the next example. Daniel Bryan. Everybody wants to see him become the guy. We want to see him become Stone Cold. We want to see him become one of the top guys. Nope, can't have that. Because Vince doesn't see him as a guy. Just like he didn't see CM Punk as a guy. So we can't have that. Can't do that. Too bad. So Daniel Bryan wins the title, but then they screw him out of it, which was a good storyline if that was what the plan was. But the plan was to screw him over, and then he was going to face Sheamus at WrestleMania. The only reason we got the thing at WrestleMania was because CM Punk quit, and they had no choice but to do it because Batista was booed out of the building. They couldn't do anything about it, and it was too late. So they gave us Daniel Bryan, but the plan was at SummerSlam to have Brock Lesnar kill him, just like when Kofi Kingston in 2019 won the title. Oh yeah, he gets to hold the title for a while, but then he faces Brock Lesnar and he loses in 6 seconds. So he didn't really mean anything. He was just a placeholder champion. Oh, we'll give you this guy as the champion, but we're not going to actually let you be a top guy. You're not going to change. You're going to hold the title a while, and then we're going to kill you. And you're going to go right back to where you were. They've done this with Daniel Bryan. They did this with Kofi Kingston. They do this with everybody that Vince doesn't see, because Vince has a narrow view of what he thinks a champion should be. He won't let Kevin Owens be the guy he could be. He's screwed everybody. And my point is, WWE doesn't listen to their audience. They don't listen to their audience. They continually do the things that people don't want to see. They won't give us what we want to see. Then we had, it was Daniel Bryan came back, and everybody wanted to see him face Brock Lesnar. No, you're going to get Roman Reigns, even though everybody hates him right now. This is how they think. They think that they can just tell us what to do. And this is what has led to an AEW being created. This is what has led to a rise with New Japan, because people are so desperate to have a company that respects their opinion. AEW does some dumb things, but they respect me as a fan. They don't insult my intelligence the way WWE will. Now they're doing these movie matches. It's awful. There's no long-term booking. There's no long-term anything. They're going to do Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, and Randy Orton's probably going to win, and he's going to face Edge at WrestleMania. Who wants to see that? That's 10. It's more of the old guys. This is like Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage being brought out in Austin's era. It doesn't make any sense. They're not listening to their fans. And John Cena was the very beginning of that. First time you really saw them say, no, we're not going to give you what you want. We know you don't want to see him as champion. Too bad. We're going to make him champion. Then they gave, so he lost the championship at One Night Stand. Well, let me tell you what happens after that. In September, he gets it back. And you want to know how long he holds it? For a whole year. And then he wasn't even going to lose. He finally, the only reason he lost it was because he got hurt in October. So he got to hold the title for a whole year. And then he got hurt and he didn't lose to anybody. So nobody gets the real rub. It was so lame. So dumb. And this is what I'm talking about. John Cena has to overcome every odd and wins everything. He was like Hulk Hogan when we don't want Hulk Hogan's anymore. It was insane. John Cena's period as champion and as the top guy was the worst time for me as a fan, because it was like a repeat of everything I didn't want to see. The fans didn't want to see this. The portion of the fans didn't want to see this. We wanted to see him turn heel. Oh, we can't turn heel because he sells too much merchandise. And that's the thing. Vince only cares about the bottom line, money. He does not care what I think. He does not care what you think. He cares about what his bottom line is and what he thinks a top guy should be, who he thinks should be the champion. And I'm done with it. I don't even really want to watch WWE anymore. And I've taken this time to really put my stamp on it and say, this is how I feel as a fan. Because I'm tired of it. And John Cena was the beginning of this. So I think I've made my point clear. As you can see, John Cena was getting booed. They refused to do anything about it. They don't listen to their fans. and they don't care what I think. They think that they know what I want, and they say, oh, well, we listen to the fans. No, you don't. You listen to the fans when it's convenient for you. As soon as the fans give you something you don't like, you turn it on its head and say, no, we're not going to do that. So I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I've been watching AEW and New Japan because I'll watch the pay-per-views and all, but I can't get invested in WWE anymore because I know they don't care what I think. I'm never going to really see Daniel Bryan be what he could have been. I never got to see what CM Punk could have been. They robbed me of those guys. They robbed me of the moments that would have been great. That's what I have to say about John Cena. Thank you for listening to the DMF. If you have any comments or you'd like to discuss this one-on-one with me, hey, I'd love to talk to you about it. But I'm going to tell you, this is how I feel, and it's not changing. There's nothing you can really tell me that it's going to change this opinion. So, I'd love to hear those comments anyways. I'm willing to still entertain your idea of it. But, yes, thank you for listening. As I said, this has been the DMF. I hope you've enjoyed it. I watched like over 48 hours of Cena, it felt like. And this is what I came to. So, thank you for listening, and I will see you next time on the DMF.